The number one thing I have been hearing this year from Poshmark sellers is that their sales have not been doing so great this year. So we're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about some ways that you can hopefully fix that. Let's jump into it. Welcome back. If you are new, my name is Nikki. I've been a part-time reseller for over 10 years, and I have been a part-time reseller on Poshmark for 6 years. Who remembers 2024, the Poshmark seller fee change? I have some notes. Do we remember this? There was a new fee model that was aimed to balance costs between buyers and sellers. I'm reading exactly from the screenshot of the new fee changes. And as soon as I do, my 4-year-old comes in my office. I try to keep my kids off camera. The 2-year-old is fine. I can just move him. The 4-year-old, he has 2 legs. He goes where he wants. Yes, sir.
I'd like to do some dance moves. Why can't we please?
No. What do you need?
I like some.
Okay. Thank you. I try to keep him off camera, friends, but I'm going to have to start locking my door. So, all right. There was a buyer protection fee that was added, and it was tiered fees based on order amounts. So this shift was met with huge backlash from the buyers. And by October 24th, I have the date down in my notes, Poshmark reverted back to its original fee structure, 20% seller fees for sales over $15 and $2.95 for sales under $15. And buyers were happy about this rollback, most buyers, but a lot of buyers had lost trust in Poshmark. A lot of sellers were very upset. And I feel like it was kind of the beginning of many changes that we would see on Poshmark. And I noticed I did a lot of videos when this happened, and I didn't want to speak too highly of the fee changes because a lot of people were very upset and I didn't want to seem insensitive. But for someone who does a lot of volume and for someone who was really looking forward to selling higher dollar amount items on Poshmark, I actually liked the change. But if it was going to scare buyers away and actually be a reduction in sales for me, then of course that's not what I wanted, because overall, mostly what I heard, buyers were not happy. And if we don't have buyers, I'm not going to be a seller there, right? So as much as I actually really liked the fee structure for someone, like I said, who was really hoping to up my average sales price and sell more expensive items there, I kind of liked it, but I also don't want to sell on a platform where buyers aren't happy and there are no buyers. So that was the first thing that ruffled a lot of feathers, and they rolled that back. And now in 2025, if you are new here, I am very much a notes nerd. I have notes on everything. So if you see me looking down, I'm just looking at my phone. The excessive listing removal policy. This went into effect May 1st. I've done 9 or 10 videos on the policy. If you have never heard of it and you're like, Nikki, I don't know what you're talking about, I will link it down below. Quickly, the policy targets, and I took this direct from the policy. The policy targets sellers who frequently delete and relist the same items within a 60-day period, a tactic that has previously been used to boost visibility. Poshmark now considers this behavior disruptive, leading to warnings, temporary restrictions, or even permanent bans for violators. So it says, while this intent is to keep the marketplace fresh, many sellers, especially those who cross-list on multiple platforms, have found this policy challenging. One of those people being myself, as many of you know. And the lack of clear guidelines on what constitutes excessive has added to the confusion and frustration. Now, this one obviously affects buyers way more than it affects sellers. What happened in October, the fee change, it affected all of us, buyers and sellers, so a lot of people on the platform. But I think the reason Poshmark moved so quickly is because they realized that the bulk of their buyers, especially consistent buyers, were not happy paying a new fee. They just were not interested and being pushed off, and the fees being pushed off to them. So we saw that quickly being reverted. And I think a lot of us sellers thought, well, since we're not happy and they hear our cries, maybe they'll change this policy. We are a month in, friends, and they have not changed a thing about that. So I don't know, friends. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm being a pessimist. I don't think this policy is going anywhere. I think they're just probably going to offer more clarification. But I will tell you that a lot of resellers are very unhappy. Some people have quit selling on Poshmark. Some people have put their closets on vacation mode. Interestingly enough, two of my group members that were suspended for 7 days have said that their sales have increased since being suspended. And I did learn, because a couple of my group members have been suspended, I did learn that you can still do everything else. You just can't list new listings. So you can share, you can like, you can ship your orders, you can still have sales on items that are currently listed. You just cannot create new listings. And I've also had a couple of reseller friends that were suspended for like 3 days. The suspension is, from everyone I've talked to, is always you can't list new items. So basically you can do everything else, you just cannot list new items. But there was 5 people that I've talked to that emailed Poshmark and said, look, I'm not excessively deleting and relisting. I'm just deleting things that sold on other platforms. Most of these people are predominantly eBay sellers, like I am myself. And so Poshmark would respond and say, oh, this doesn't apply to you. Continue as normal. You're not suspended. But then they're not able to list. Like, 5 people have told me that even though Poshmark has said, oh, this doesn't apply to you, this is more for people who, this is for people who delete and relist. But then they're like, okay, well then now my account will be fully running, and it's not. They can't list again until that suspension period is up. So it's just been a mess. A lot of people, buyers and sellers, have lost a lot of trust in Poshmark, and I feel like it's affecting a lot of people's sales. I'm kind of like at a loss. I want to provide some tips on what I've been doing. I don't know that this would, I, yeah, I don't know, friends. I'm lost. So where I'm at, I've made it a month, friends, and I am deleting listings daily. I am not doing anything differently than what I did before this new policy went into place. If you are new here, I am predominantly an eBay seller. Like, I sell most of my items on eBay. Well, I don't know if you include live sales on Posh, because I go live on Poshmark and whatnot. But if you include the sales I make on live sales, they're kind of neck and neck, but I try not to include that in these videos. But if we're talking about like static listings, I sell anywhere on a very slow day from 10 on a very busy day to like 30 to 40 items 7 days a week on eBay. That's the platform I started on 16 years ago. I don't even like saying that on camera because it just feels so old. But I basically started when I was 5. So I have always, in the 6 years that I've been selling on Poshmark, I am always deleting listings daily, and I'm not relisting, or I'm not. What this policy is supposedly targeted at are people that are deleting and relisting the same items very frequently. Like, I didn't know people were doing this until this policy came out. Some people are deleting and relisting their closet like weekly. Usually these are people that have smaller closets, like, 100, 200, 300 items. I didn't know people were doing that, honestly. No judgment if you do. I delete and relist twice a year when I do my inventory. Like right now, I am going through all of my bins. I have about 1,500 listings on eBay and about 1,000, close to 1,000 on Poshmark. Twice a year, I go through all of my bins. I make sure everything is listed. I check comps on the items, see if they need new photos. And at that point, I will delete and relist. So I feel like I'm not on their radar because I have never done that on my account, and I have always consistently been deleting things daily. So when this first came out, and a lot of my friends and a lot of my group members, and I was just seeing on social media that so many people were getting these suspensions where they couldn't list. The longest suspension I've seen now is 15 days. I was trying to do all the workarounds. So I was like putting not for sale, deleting all the photos because I have things daily I need to delete on Poshmark. But it just got to the point, friends, where I was like, this is too time consuming. I cannot do this. I'm just going to space out how many items I delete every day. So right now I'm deleting 7 items a day. I started at 3 because there's no clarity on what is considered excessive. Like, I don't want to be deleting too much where I become on their radar. So I was deleting 3 a day, then I got up to 5, now I'm up to 7. I would just like to get to the point where I can just delete whatever I need to delete so that way it can't also sell on Poshmark. So tips on how to combat this. One, I know some of you might think, really, Nikki, that's your number one tip, but you have to diversify, friends. I know so many of you that watch me that only sell on one platform. And hear me when I say this. Maybe eBay is your only platform. Learn from my mistakes, friends. For 10 years, eBay was my only platform. I only sold on eBay. I think it's like 8 or 9 years, actually, because I actually started selling on ThreadUp, The Real, and Amazon before I started selling on Poshmark. Poshmark is my newest platform. I'm doing air quotes because I've been on there for 6 years. But of all the platforms I've sold on, Poshmark is my newest. So probably about 8, let's say to be safe, 8 years. I only sold on eBay and I could have been making exponentially more money if I had just added one or two more platforms. So I think that's my number one piece of advice for those of you that have been looking to make the leap. Add another platform. If you're consistent with your processes, like you're consistently listing, you've got your inventory down, like all of your business is set up and you know how to sell on Poshmark, maybe try just cross listing to eBay. Shameless plug, I have a referral code to a cross listing site that I love, Vindu. You put up one listing and you can post it to Poshmark, eBay, Vinted, Vestiaire. You could post to I think they have like 10 or 15 different platforms. I'll leave the link down below. But I highly recommend it. And this is for eBay sellers that may be watching this. I know you might be watching this and thinking Poshmark is a mess, but I still make money there. I still make thousands of dollars a month selling on Poshmark, and we're going to get into how I do that. So, number one, diversify. I always say, I don't tell you how to run your business. I tell you what's working for me. What's working for me and what has worked for me over these last 6 years is selling on 5 different platforms. I actually resell now 7 different ways. I get into that in a video that I will leave a link down below. I sell to thrift stores, consignment stores. I sell on multiple different platforms. And maybe you don't want to make a ton of money. Maybe you just want job security and you're happy making the amount of money you make, then just add one platform. But if you do want to make more money and you want some type of security, because we don't own these platforms, I always say that, friends. We can get mad, we can get angry. In the end, we do not own their platforms. We have to do what they say or you don't sell on their platform. So just make the most of it, churn the most amount of money you can out of these platforms and live your happy life. So that is my number one tip. Diversify. Number 2, this might be controversial. Hold on to your butts, friends. Maybe give Poshmark Live a try. I will be very honest, and this is something that I don't hear a lot of live sellers say. It's not for everybody. You may not be successful at it. It is such a roller coaster. Do it a couple times. Give it a try. If you hate it, don't ever do it again. I will say I feel like live selling is something that you can't just do one or twice. I would say give it like a 3-month go. Try it for 3 months, make it work for your schedule. Don't overexert yourself like I did and burn out. I built a very good following. I was consistent, doing 5 to 7 live sales a week. I was about 6 months pregnant. I did that for a long time. I burnt out and I disappeared. And so now I'm starting my live selling career basically from scratch. I started live selling when Whatnot launched their clothing category 3 years ago, and I was doing great. I sold close to 2,000 items in like 6 months or something, which is huge for me as a part-time reseller. Actually, I think it was less than that. It was like 4 months, all while being pregnant. And I burnt out, friends. So start slow. Do it for at least a month, maybe two, I'd say three, and then make the decision on whether or not it's for you. Because I will tell you, when there have been extremely slow times for me on Poshmark, live selling has saved me. Literally, I would not have sales for like 3 days on Poshmark, and I'm doing everything right. I'm sharing all my listings. I am uploading brand new listings daily, at least 10 to 30 items every single day for months. And I would just have like 2 or 3 no sales days. And you know what saved me was doing a live sale and selling 30 items, selling 40 items, even selling 20 items, friends, would save my income on Poshmark. So that's why I always say try it. A lot of people, it's not for them. And if it's not for you, you don't ever do it again. But maybe you give it a try and you're like, you know what? I actually like this. This is fun. I could do this. I could incorporate this into my Poshmark business once a month, once a week, whatever works for you. But I do recommend giving it a try. I have a lot of videos on live selling. I was going to say if you wanted like a Poshmark live tutorial or video, I could do that, but I've already done that, friends. So I will leave a link to that down below. Nikki, Editing Nikki, actually link the videos down below. I've probably done like 30 videos just dedicated to live selling on Poshmark and whatnot. So I'll leave a link down below. If you have any questions about live selling, let me know down below. One of the number one questions I get about live selling is, do you have to be on camera? No, I was just watching a jewelry seller. I was like 2 a.m. I was listing. I couldn't sleep. And she had like 70 people in there, and all you see are her nice manicured hands and like a background of jewelry. And she was doing great. Maybe you sell jewelry. I also saw somebody on Whatnot selling Disney pins. I couldn't see her face. I do think it's nice for a long term connection for your viewers to see you, but you don't have to. There are people who have built a great following, and all you see are their hands, or all you see is the product. So try it out, do what you're comfortable with, and then go from there. I will leave a link to some videos on live selling down below. Don't hate me because I suggested it. This is for the people that haven't tried it and don't hate it. I know a lot of my viewers cannot stand live selling. This is not for you. It's not for those of you that have tried it and hate it. I'm talking to the people that haven't tried it and don't hate it. Or I'm talking to the people that maybe tried it once or twice and they were like, I like it, but I just didn't have that many people in my show. I do think it takes time and it takes consistency. And that's one thing I've learned after 3 years of doing this and then taking long breaks. I'm talking, friends, I didn't go live. I went from having 5 to 7 live sales a week to having nothing for like 7 months. So when I came back, I was like a brand new live seller. Like you do have to be consistent. I had, a couple people in my shows. I went from consistently having like 50 to 100 people in my shows to when I came back having like 15 to 20. Like I would be excited if there were 30 people. I have also learned about live sales. You don't need a huge amount of people in your live sale to make a lot of money. I was just watching a live sale right now with 160 people in it. And the last 10 things that she ran all sold for $15. Then I was in another live sale during the same time frame. She had 25 people and she sold probably like 25 items for over $50. You only need a handful of buyers. I used to think that was kind of corny when people would say that. It is totally factual. So don't let that amount of people in your show skew your view of it because you literally need 5 or 10 buyers. You don't even need 10 and you can make a great profit. Okay. So don't let the numbers scare you, freak you out. Like right now, I don't get a ton of people at my live sales. I think I went live last week and the top amount I had was 45 people. But I sold 30 items. I sold a couple things for over $50. I had some things that sold for $12, but I'm in the rebuild phase and the consistency phase. So those are just some tips I've learned about it. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments down below. If I can answer it, I'll try. If I can't, maybe one of you all can help. Because I know I always talk a lot to the people who don't like it because I feel like I have to keep saying, I'm sorry, I know you don't like it because you guys are the most vocal. I can't stand live selling. But I need to also talk to those of you that love it because I'm starting to hear from a lot of you that I didn't even know you were live sellers. And you're like, please talk about live selling. I like it. I've been doing it this long. I make a great amount of money. So let me hear from you all too. For those of you that actually like live selling and you're making money doing it, I'd love to hear from you as well. This is a little piggyback off of live selling, but I wrote down build relationships through prompt communication and excellent customer service to encourage repeat buyers. I did not realize how many repeat buyers I had on Poshmark until I started live selling. And it's not just repeat buyers that buy from my live sales. That's a whole other thing I could talk about. It's actually a lot of repeat people that buy. One, because they've seen me live. They hear, like, if you've ever come to my live sales, you guys know I can get a little TMI. Like, one time we talk about crazy stuff, fertility. We have a segment that I was calling like Nikki After Dark or Nikki at Night or something. Like, I can, it's literally like you're hanging out with a friend, but you build relationships with those people. And I realized when I was printing out, my labels, like, wow, this person has bought a lot from me. I've seen their name like 2 or 3 times this week. And so then I started thinking, how many people are just repeat buyers buying from my listings? One of the things I started doing really after COVID was reading my Poshmark reviews. I feel like it's kind of hidden to see your Poshmark reviews. eBay is very loud and proud right on the top of your profile, but Poshmark, I just would cash out. Like, I was just looking at the money. I wasn't even looking at ratings unless I got a bad one. But I didn't even realize that a lot of these 5-star ratings, people were leaving comments. I wouldn't even look at it until I was doing like what sold videos and people being like, I buy from Nikki weekly and I love her packages. She ships super fast. And I'm like, wait, these are people that have never purchased from me in a lifestyle. I'm like, she buys from me weekly? So I go through and I look and I'm like, oh, this woman has bought from me weekly for almost a year. And because I'm just always moving so fast, I don't even realize that. I recognize it when I'm doing the lifestyle shipments because I'm actually talking to these people in the chat. So I'm seeing their username over and over and over, in the lifestyle chat. But people just going into my closet, creating bundles or buying single items. And then I started taking note over the last couple of years that I have built up a huge customer base of repeat buyers on Poshmark. Not so much on eBay because there's no communication there. Like, eBay, I feel like I never hear from the buyer unless something's wrong. It's very rare that they will message me and say, I buy from you weekly. They do leave reviews, but it's usually not, I'm a repeat buyer. It's usually great shipping or super fast. It's more like Amazon, I feel like. But on Poshmark, there is this connection with the buyer, and you can really build a huge customer base of repeat buyers if you offer great customer service. These are people that I've never even talked to. I've never talked to this woman that I just mentioned that has purchased from me weekly for a year. We've never had a private conversation. She's never purchased from one of my live sales. And so then I started realizing how many people I have that come and shop with me because they know consistently I'm uploading new inventory almost 7 days a week. They know that. They also know that I ship super fast. If I don't ship your package within a day, two, something's wrong. Like, I've probably misplaced the item. I needed to dry clean the item or steam the item. It is very rare. Or maybe I'm sick. I ship super fast and people appreciate that. We live in the Amazon world where people can order something Monday night and get it by Tuesday. Everybody expects everything to be super fast, especially because they're paying a premium for shipping. So I know that sounds like a little frou-frou, but I'm telling you, friends, over time, if you build up a customer base that just trusts you, knows you have good customer service, knows you have good quality inventory, they will keep buying from you, and that could be a game changer for your reselling business. Lastly, this one I feel like is like the least important, but no, it's not least important. Stay informed. I wrote down regularly check Poshmark's updates, community forums to stay ahead of policy changes and to be aware of the newest updates and what's happening to other resellers in the community so that you know what to do to avoid getting yourself in trouble, excuse me. I wouldn't have known all the workarounds and everything to do to try to keep my account safe had I not been reading Instagram and reading Facebook posts. I really don't like Facebook, but I do use it to acquire inventory. I've talked about that in a video I'll link down below. And I'm in a lot of reseller groups on Facebook, so I have to use it, but I wouldn't have known all this stuff had I not stayed up to date and followed other resellers and heard about what they're doing in order to keep their accounts safe and watch YouTube videos. Honestly, friends, there's not a ton of YouTubers talking about Poshmark. I'm only really, I don't know, maybe it's just my algorithm. I'm only really seeing videos of people that have been suspended and talking about their suspension process, which I really appreciate. But I've heard mostly from my group members about their suspensions. But I was surprised that a lot of people aren't doing like more updates on what's happening with Poshmark, but I get it. I didn't want to do it. I've been totally honest with you all. I don't really like making those like big policy change update videos for any platform because one, I don't want to bring attention to myself. I don't really want to put on the internet to Poshmark that I'm doing workarounds on my account to try to avoid their like non-descriptive policy. I don't want to put a video out on ThreadUp selling policy changes and then they just totally blow up the whole selling platform and my video just makes me sound like a complete idiot because their whole policy has changed. So I really don't like doing those videos, but I think they're helpful. And it's important that we spread the information so that we can all win. And apparently it's working because my most highest viewed videos last month were all about those Poshmark policy changes. I think I did like 10 videos in May about Poshmark policies, and those were all my highest viewed videos. So maybe maybe just for the growth, I should be making those videos a lot. But I do, it's important, friends, and it can only help your business to stay informed. Just try not to internalize it. You all know I try not to generalize, but YouTube shows me on the back end 95% of you that watch my channel are women. And by the way, ma'am, if you're still watching and you're not subscribed, no thank you. You're still here. That means you're an oldie, but a goldie. If you know, you know, subscribe. I'm here multiple times a week. It is free. Also, I need to shamelessly plug all my stuff. I created an ebook. It is completely free. It is linked down below. I should probably change the title because basically when you get this ebook, you're joining my newsletter. I don't overly email you all. We have over 1,000 people on there. I only email you once a week. And it's kind of like a reseller update email. Like I tell you about new things that are happening in the reseller world. And then I also I just started this in May. I've been selling to email members. So I offer wholesale deals there. I let you know of any giveaways I have going on. So I should probably title it like join my newsletter and get a free ebook. So I created the ebook. It's like 14 pages and it's 100 brand bolo list. So I always link that down below. You can get the ebook, and then if you don't want to be on my email list, you can unsubscribe. It's free. Like there's no commitment. I always leave that link down below. And I need to start promoting it more often because I think it's awesome. And I think my email letter is awesome because I can get things out to you more timely. Oh my gosh, there's a fly in here. This is my least favorite thing, friends, about summertime is the flies. I cannot stand the flies. And I live in a small jungle. I have a lot of plants. And so they are like in heaven in here. So I have to start my fly trap. I have like all these things I have to do to get rid of the flies, and I haven't done it yet. So I can't stand them. Anyways, sorry. So all that's linked down below. Stay informed. Don't let the information stress you out, though. That's why I put that tip at the end, because I know for some people, all of the information can stress them out. We literally have a fly swat in every room. I want one of those things. Have you guys seen it online that it like it seems like some type of electric thing and like zaps them? Some of you are like, girl, what are you talking about? I'm going to get him. There's going to be a fly death today. I should probably do it off camera. Oh, there he is. Let me get my shoe. Who was here when my 4-year-old held up my bedroom shoe? And he's like, that's not mommy's shoe. I'm like, yes, it is. I got these from Nordstrom Rack, friends. Oh, there it is. It was, some of you are probably laughing. It was on sale for $13. I think they retailed for $30. I wait for a sale. Oh, there he is. He's attracted to the light. I really should turn the camera off, but I'm going to get him. He's really big. He's probably been feasting on my plants. Oh, bugger. Where did he go? I look psycho. I should go.